Nah. Hey, fellas, thank you for being here and for the support. Appreciate it. It's much appreciated.
Thanks for having us.
Sir, no problem.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Don't give him no love until after they finish.
What up? What up? What up, internet? How you do, where you be, where you at, what you see. This is Pop Cult Parent, the retrospective podcast where we look at the media, we ingested as young men. We talk about it, we vote on it, we wait for Nevada to deliver the final votes. And we still waiting, but it's all good. But man, hey Nels, man, it's kind of crowded up in this virtual chat of the pop cult. I mean, I see a lot of different faces, some familiar faces. You want to just kind of introduce everyone and maybe tell the audience what's so special about tonight's show?
Yes. Well, first and foremost, this is Niels RY, aka To Me My X-Men. This is a very special episode. So we got members of the pop cult to join us to have a very, very special conversation. We have, and it just so happens that these members of the pop cult all happen to be members of the greatest chapter of Omega Psi Phi of all time, which is the Psi Delta chapter based out of the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, which just so happens to also be the greatest university of all time.
All right, we'll edit that.
No, that's gonna stay in. That's gonna stay in. As most of you are aware, myself and Mark happen to be frat brothers. And so we thought, a lot of the conversations that particularly me and some of my chapter brothers have, we have like intellectual debates that go on the level of stuff that should be on CNN when it comes to like our superheroes. And it has gone on for years. And so we're at the point of like, you know what, it's time to put it on wax. Like, let's really put it out there and like have some of these debates be in live action. So what we're going to do is have what we're calling a superhero roundtable, where we're going to put out there some of the conversations, some of the arguments, some of the topics that we have been talking about for years in regards to superheroes, to see how the fellas feel and see what comes of it. So before I introduce the members of the pop cult that are here, just to acknowledge one thing, I think Mark and I are the only ones that are actually parents, unless somebody has something to tell me that they haven't told me in the past couple of months or so. Cool.
As far as I know, boss.
I'm gonna look again, just making sure. All right, good. But they all are uncles because they're all my son's uncles. So we're really excited to have them. So I'm gonna go around and give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves. So first up is Otis.
What up, everybody? My name is Otis Stroud. We're doing AKA O Sizzle, Balsa Hard University. Grew up Marvel and DC, comic books as well. One thing I always say is that what introduced me to this world of comics was actually my mother, who was hooked on comic books as well. So anything Marvel, DC, you name it, she could get in deep with you too and take your Black Panther shirt if you wanted to take it there. So as we think about like the parenting thing, like I'm that second generation of that because she loved it so much and still loves it today.
Mama Stroud, one of the coolest people on the planet, period.
She asked about you too.
tell her I said what's up. I owe her a phone call. And next we have Young Matt. And yes, your name is Young Matt.
Yeah, I'm Young Matt because Nels' LB is Big Matt apparently. So don't want to bring.
He's Big Matt, and he's also just Matt.
Yeah.
But you need something in front of your name, hence why you are Young Matt. Please continue. Sorry to interrupt you.
All right, we'll do that. But my name's Matthew Taylor, NC native, currently Cali living. Was introduced to comics watching Batman the Animated Series and the 90s X-Men as a young kid. And once I was able to read comics in the stores, here I am. I might be the youngest in the group, but I'm thorough with this.
Clearly, Matt's been eating his Wheaties since he's been in quarantine because the brother's optics have
young Matt
gone.
with the regalness. as a young boy, young Matt used to.
Yeah,
Bro,
he's
why you sound
slowly
like Shaq?
he's slowly turning into Morgan Freeman.
I'm here to talk about comic books and stuff. Been doing for a long time.
It must be rough over there. They got you slaving over there. As you can realize, we're going to pick on Matt for the rest of the evening. I digress. Let's move on. Next, we have Darius.
I'm Darius, hot take guy, MCU fan.
And next, we have Jeff.
What's up, y'all? I'm Jeff. Team Tony over here. Glad to be on the podcast.
And last but certainly not least, one of my sons, Dorian, you're next.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? I'm Dorian Brown, the voice of reason with our group when it relates to comics and comic book movies. Big Spider-Man fan. Been playing the Miles Morales PS4 Spider-Man game all day. Just warming up for this conversation tonight. I look forward to, proving why Darius and Otis are wrong on almost everything. So
here we go. I want a good, clean fight. I want everybody to be rooted in facts. Wikipedia will not be used. You got to have everything straight off of the dome. I will moderate, but I'll also throw a jab in here and there.
Let's get it on! And here we go.
One of the biggest debates we have had time after time has been Civil War. So I'm just gonna start off and give a little bit of context, and then we're gonna jump into the conversation. So as you all may remember, there was a little old movie some time ago called Captain America: Civil War, the third of the Captain America movies. Very popular if you haven't seen it, based off of the comic Civil War, where it was Team Tony Stark versus Team Captain America. We were going to kick off this conversation about which team you would be on if you were in the world of Marvel. And while you may assume that there is an answer to this, I'm going to give some context, y'all. Like, Captain America isn't popular to everybody. He ain't everybody's America. He may be Captain America, but he ain't captain of everybody's America. And Tony is rooted in privilege. Tony being Tony Stark. So like, there's a lot of things that come into, like, it's not a slam dunk decision. You may think it is, but it's not. So the question I have for the fellas is, what team are you? Team Tony or Team Cap, and why? Who'd like to start? Go ahead, Dorian.
let me just say, Tony Stark is Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook sucks. So that answers that right there. I'm Team Cap all the way. I think that, you know, coming from a fraternity that values friendship, how could you deny the loyalty that Captain America had for his best man, his friend, his road dog? Like there should be no explanation with this group. But so I'm Team Cap all the way.
Enough. That, let me be clear. I could never be on the side of Captain MAGA America. There is no way. Come on, man. That's not loyalty he showed the Winter Soldier, man. Bruh, come on. Like, we going too far, but let's be real.
What is it then if that's not loyalty? What is it, Darius?
Bro, that's two-facedness. Like, how do you show up to talk everything for Tony Stark? That man's dad gave you a shield.
Privilege.
Come on,
and
man.
lied to that man too about what happened.
The whole time you're looking at this man's face, you know who killed him.
That ain't loyalty, bro.
Like,
That's not loyalty at all, man.
I'm gonna break this down to you like this, Dorian. If Niels is my dog, bro, and if Niels did that to your parents in the past, I don't care if Niels was like brainwashed or whatever. Like, I'm gonna be like, look, Niels, Dorian, y'all gotta shoot the one, bro. Like,
y'all remember that Dave Chappelle skit with Black Bush? Like, he killed my father.
Facts.
I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. And also to say that Tony Stark and Zuckerberg, I think to assume, yes, he had all the money in the world, but to assume the privilege that comes with that, because if you really think about it, like, dude lost his parents at a very, very like young age, and so he kind of had to.
He was in college. Talking about a young age.
I don't know. I still got my parents, so
Yeah, like young is relative, but like
it's relative though. But what I'm saying is, just money doesn't always like cover those gaps and whatnot, and there's still other obstacles to overcome. Like he probably would have traded that money for his parents and that privilege you refer to, and also Captain America has privilege to be like, let's not worry about our enemy Hydra, because Hydra's my friend now, and I'm just gonna help him out because that's my dog. Like, you have the privilege to jump sides because I'm Captain America, which is really Captain Puerto Rico, because if you look at it, it's kind of like the Puerto Rican flag. It's not even the whole American flag, so that's dumb to begin with. But I digress.
So, number one, we're defending the rich now. Wow. All right. Number two, Captain America defended his friend with a mental illness. Mental illness. He defended his friend. I think y'all are throwing that friendship away. He watched his friend fall off a train, thought he was dead, lived for like another 70 or 80 years, find out his friend's alive, and y'all want him to just throw that away.
Cap will vote to revoke your rights, bro. Why are you?
Hold on. I gotta ask, okay, I don't know who said it, but I need someone to explain to me why Captain America is MAGA. Like I need that.
Okay. So Darius, I'll let you go. But I want to color it in.
Speak like Dave Chappelle. You got a minute?
Because this has been an ongoing conversation about which superheroes would vote what. Because as you remember from 2016, Mark, like with 55% of white women voting for Trump, you know one of those white women, like one of your white friends voted for Trump. And so we're like, dang, I wonder what these superheroes would go. Because like the odds are one of them is voting for Trump. So we started to go through the list. And when we got to Captain America, Darius emerged from the smoke and went in and convinced all of us. I mean, the majority of us be like, yeah, you're right. But go ahead, Darius. I'll let you go.
All right. So I got a few reasons. The main ones, one, Jim Crow is Captain America's cousin. First. Second of all, like the man, like in Civil War, they got in this whole argument over too much control from political figures. That sounds exactly like Jim Bob from Union County. Like that's what they talk about, getting their Second Amendment rights revoked, having too much government interference. That is all Captain America's talking points. He is there and literally like he's not governed by ethics, as you can tell by the fact that he took Bucky's side over just being honest and telling the truth about the actual events that happened. He's trying to misconstrue history, sort of like those guys on the other side of the aisle that we see in the political race right now.
Listen,
man,
I will say this. Captain America is not for big government. Like,
yes,
he has shown that he's not for big government.
Yes.
So take it for what it is.
Tony Stark ain't for big government either. That man was trying to install his own power source in the middle of Manhattan. Tony Stark is doing whatever he wants because he was not Zuckerberg. He is Jeff Bezos. He has his own government. He does whatever.
I didn't say Tony won't go vote for Trump either.
It sounds like the Green New Deal Tony was going for right there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, and I'll say this before, like, Jeff, I obviously want your take too, but I'm going to say this. I would argue that we can all agree on this one thing, that Otis is right about one particular thing. Yo, you got to let him scrap. Like, Captain America is like, yo, like, he killed your father. He killed your mother. Y'all got to scrap. Like, you my dog, but you my dog too. Y'all got to scrap. I feel like that is a rule that should have just been followed. Is that do y'all not 100% agree that Cap should have just let him scrap?
Yes.
Hey,
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yo, Nels, I 100% agree. But do you think that if Bucky was in his right mind, that would have been Captain America's go-to?
I can't go with that argument. Like, yes, he was not in his right mind. But how many of your homeboys have not been in their right mind? You had to check them. You had to check. Mark, how many times have you had to check me for not being in my right mind? we could go down the list, and I deserved it. So like,
Listen,
nah, I
listen.
can't even hold that up.
Captain America was still trying to get his friend mental help. He was still recovering from being brainwashed for the last 70 years, the traumas of the things that he had done. Yes, they should be able to scrap when Bucky's in a more stable place. You don't let your best friends get scrapped up while your man is still on the IR.
Well, I got a question then. If we're talking about loyalty to friends and whatnot, aren't Cap and Tony supposed to be friends? Like, where's the loyalty to holding that information from him about what your homeboy allegedly he killed his parents, man? You sitting there looking in his face every day, talking about that shield every day. We in this group together, and then who killed my parents. You know how that affects me mentally. Tony Stark, he had his own mental health issues too. With his PTSD, the issues he's got with his family, all these sorts of things. But hey, Cap didn't give a fuck about that shit.
Hold on, y'all making it seem like Cap sat on this information for years.
We never knew how long.
We don't know how long Cap knew that.
We never knew how long.
Y'all are assuming the worst.
Natasha
I'm assuming
gave him
that
the paperwork
Cap
at the
just
end of
found out.
Ultron, though. Natasha gave him the paperwork at the end of Ultron.
Oh,
there you go. I did not make that.
Oh, Cap knew for a minute, y'all. That's wrong, man. Look.
Hey, that's like 5 movies.
Right? There's a couple things happened since then. From then to that point,
Right.
Shield got knocked down, and he still didn't tell him.
Hold on. Into Ultron, in the Civil War, how much time passed from because old girl, what's the black lady's name that checked Tony Stark? Cap was still trying to figure it out, man.
Now
He was
he's
still
back
on
into
it
an
for a
excuse.
minute, though.
But you don't have room to try and figure out when the emotions that higher involved, like the way all of us grew up in general in your friend group. If two of your homeboys got issues, don't matter. You have to step back and let them deal with it one-on-one. You just make sure it doesn't get too dirty and grimy. But you can't.
Too dirty and grimy. Tony is trying to kill Bucky.
Time out. I'm gonna say this last piece and I'm done. Speaking of dirty and grimy, Dorian, again, let's say that your Nils, using the same example, me and Nils, and you found out Nils did that to your parents. You come to confront Nils and we both jump you. Cause that's what the fuck Cap did. Cap didn't even let him shoot the one. Cap was like, yo, we gonna both whoop.
No, what Cap did, Cap kept Tony from killing Bucky. Because Tony wasn't trying to shoot the one. Shoot the ones doesn't mean
they fought him.
You're talking about a duel. Tony wanted to duel to the death. That's not shooting the ones. That's not scrapping and then you pick the man up and dust off his pants and say, let's go have a beer.
Cap jumped in from the very beginning. There was no,
Cap knew that Tony had no regard. Tony wasn't.
There was no throw the damn towel. It's getting out of hand.
Somebody gotta die.
Tony said the safety is off. I'm not shooting the ones with nobody. I'm shooting to kill.
Bruh,
If
it was you and Nils, I would grab a seat and I would cry. I'd be like, my friend's gonna die. But it's only fair. I'd be like, Nils, Dorian, fight to the death. This is gonna hurt my heart.
Only thing I'm gonna disagree with that is y'all gotta remember these are white men. So it's different if it was me and Dorian. We just gonna fight. And we probably just gonna talk afterwards. White men, the ego and the privilege comes in, the whiteness creeps into the brain cells, and then they're like,
someone's gonna pay.
You gotta fucking die. So there's just levels to that.
My father.
Let me just say, I hope that none of y'all ever get brainwashed ever, because y'all are some unforgiving sons of guns. I can tell you that.
If I get brainwashed, you have the right to whoop my ass if I get out of line.
The one thing I will say though, because if y'all remember, my original take is that I'm Team Cap. The one thing I will say is this. Yes, Cap should have let them fight, but I understand why he stopped, why he jumped in. Because Tony was going to kill that man. And that is his dude. So of all the craziness, the logic that I understand is if I don't jump in, he's going to kill my dude. This is my brother. He's going to kill my brother if I don't jump in. This dude has a metal, he is built, he's completely covered in metal. I can just knock him down, calm him down. He gonna be fine.
Speaking of brainwash,
he gonna kill that dude if I don't jump in.
Speaking of brainwash, y'all are really really forgiving of Tony being brainwashed by Scarlet Witch and creating Ultron and killing all those civilians and starting all that mess.
That's a terrible take. That's a
Was
terrible.
he brainwashed
so?
when he made Ultron?
First of all, she put the little spell on him to get him to create Ultron, but that's not him killing a bunch of people. Ultron had artificial intelligence. That was Ultron's choice. Like that's not Tony's doing.
So he's not responsible for his actions when he was.
No, that wasn't his act. Ultron.
Here comes the who built the cages Obama argument.
Ultron was created to protect the world.
Well, hey,
what happened was Ultron gained artificial intelligence, and then it resulted in multiple people being killed. Not like Tony directly beaming people in the face and them ceasing to exist.
But when Tony had a chance, he immediately did the same thing again. It worked out. We got Vision, but he was like, "Oh, I'm going to try this again." I mean, come on, man. He's kind of acting a little irresponsible. Logically, in that situation, we were like, "No, Tony, get Tony away from any computer. Don't give that man an iPhone."
That's what they tried to do. Thor and them tried to keep him away from all kinds of computers and whatnot during the movie. But you know what? That's what makes Tony the greatest Avenger. He persevered, he found a way, and he saved the day.
No, Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man made him the best Avenger. Like,
all I'm gonna say is Captain
comment?
America is the reason why we still got Bucky alive to fight for saving people in the world. Bucky's an Avenger today because of Captain America.
And Bucky would have been shutting down them protests too.
I don't know. Bucky down with the Brown.
With that arm.
Bucky down with the Brown. He did spend like a summer in Wakanda.
Oh yeah, the White
he was
Wolf.
cool with him.
Just like Republicans do, like a summer abroad and like feed some kids somewhere.
Captain.
I don't know, man. I think Bucky would have been.
Otis.
Otis. I think Bucky would have been eating some fufu. He would have been a little. If you left Bucky in Wakanda, like he would have been mighty comfortable.
No, he looked comfortable. He was wearing the attire. He ain't had no armor, no nothing. He had the whole thing dangling out. The kids was dancing around him.
He did look comfortable.
He
also didn't have a choice.
Some Wakanda cheeks while he was over there.
Also, let me just say, listen, they must have loved him because the last time we saw Bucky there, they froze him. And next thing you know, we see him. They done defrosted him, got him out here in the land living a good life.
I agree.
That was his last strike. He didn't have much.
I think we can all agree he had a good time in Wakanda. Can we?
Also, Tony Stark should have exhibited some of the forgiveness that Black Panther exhibited when he let Bucky live and all the other jazz.
Dorian, that's a hot take, but I agree with it because no, I don't agree with it. You forgot one thing. Black Panther's black. There's just a lot of logic that's in there. All right, you got to remember that when we ain't talking about a black person. So yeah, you can't. It's apples and oranges, brother. You can't do that.
I think Black Panther at the end of Civil War when it was Tony and Bucky and Captain there fighting, I kind of think deep down T'Challa was like, "Yo, if he dies, he dies, and I'm just gonna be out here and let them do that for me." So I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have shed a tear if they would have drugged Bucky out there. So that could have been part of the.
Mm-hmm.
I know he
still killed his father, you know. So I get that, but he just said he's like it's consuming them. I would not let it consume me. You know, that was like he's like, nah, I'm not going to act on anger.
If they shoot themselves, it is what it is.
Yeah, if it's a tie, you know.
So y'all, we're gonna wrap up this part of the conversation. The best way I can do is this. I'm gonna go around, say your name, and you're gonna say whether you Team Cap or Team Tony. All right, Otis.
Tony.
Young Matt.
Tony for the movie.
So you're excluding all Tony Starks. You're just including movie Tony Starks.
Yeah, because if you take Bucky out the equation and you talk about the original thing Cap was fighting for, I'd be Team Cap. But the movie adding Bucky made it more difficult.
Yeah, okay. Darius.
Team Tony, no question.
Dorian.
Team Cap all the way, baby.
Jeff.
I am Iron Man. That's all I'm gonna say. Team Tony, baby.
Mark, you got a take?
it break my heart to fight Peter Parker, but I'm Team Cap, dog.
And I'm also Team Cap. 4-3. Oh yeah, no, Team Tony wins. Team Tony wins.
4-3. It went 7, which I'm not surprised because just like we thought this election was going to be wrapped up quick, but here we are. We just got Georgia today.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next topic. I love to spend some time talking about which superheroes you all thought voted for Trump. We kind of just teased it a little bit, but I'm curious on the list that we can all bring together of what superheroes voted for Trump. So we're gonna go around. I like to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I like to get 7 unique superheroes, so no repeats. Let's just get a quick list of what superheroes y'all think voted for Trump. And we won't go in any order. If you have a name, just speak out.
I'll say Dr. Strange voted for Trump the first election. Second election, he switched back.
Was the first election before he was like the Doctor Strange versus?
Yes, this was the third Dr. Strange voted for Trump.
That's fair.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
I agree.
War Machine voted for Trump that first election. Now that he lost his legs.
Don Cheadle or your other?
Yeah, that's a good question. Don Cheadle or Terrence Howard?
Terrence Howard. No, man.
No, mine.
Not vote for Trump, man.
See, man ain't like it, dog. And when I say man, I'm talking about man as in mankind, not man as in man. As men, well, we a lot like a dog. But man, he know about death. But we ain't gonna get no move on in this world lying around the sun, licking our ass all day. I mean, we man. You a woman, all, but we man.
Terrence Howard wouldn't have voted for Trump, but
no.
Walking
Next time,
War Machine,
baby.
when War Machine had his legs, he definitely voted
Next
for him.
time, baby.
Next time, baby.
Oh, God. Okay, so walking Don Cheadle would have been pro-Trump.
Well, I'll step outside of MCU. Cyclops would have voted for Trump. I don't explain why. We all know.
I think that's a unanimous. That's not even a debate. We just nodded our head and we're moving on. That is correct, Otis. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, Cyclops.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye is very rural. This is probably where his vote is coming from.
He wants his guns and his arrows left alone.
He strikes me as a proud boy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
He does.
I'm just gonna keep it.
No, he does. I'm thinking about like the MCU movie arc. Like if you think about like after Infinity War, like that transition in the Endgame, I think he found a little bit of humanity.
Nah, with that haircut, I'm telling you, when he said stand by, Hawkeye was loading his quiver.
Okay.
Damn, Hawkeye voted for Trump.
I'm gonna give you a name
that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. Hawkeye voted for Trump.
Not surprised though.
Yeah.
Here's another no-brainer. Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
Right.
See, no, this is an argument. Matt, I don't agree. I don't necessarily think Bruce Wayne would have voted for Trump. I'm not saying Bruce Wayne would have voted for Biden, but I don't think he would have voted for Trump.
Bruce Wayne fought Donald Trump every day. Like that's all that Gotham City had was like 20 Donald Trumps.
Nels, we had this discussion. First of all, like Otis, you just said like Bruce Wayne is fighting Ra's al Ghul. He's fighting the Donald Trumps, right?
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne doesn't vote, but Bruce Wayne votes in all local elections.
Yes.
He voting for the mayor. He voting for the dog catcher, the librarian. Like, if it's a local Gotham City election, Bruce Wayne will be there.
Yes. But like he ain't got time to be dealing with like presidents. Like what he'll do, he won't vote. He'll go investigate and he'll see what's really, really good. And then he'll make an ultimatum of like, if you get this office, you will not touch the Gotham. Like he'll say some shit like that. But like
so
he won't vote.
Here's my question back to y'all, to you and Mark. Then, would he have made a donation to a presidential campaign?
if you ain't running for the mayor of Gotham City, you ain't getting no Wayne money, dog. I'm sorry. I don't think Bruce even votes in the governor race. Like, if it ain't Gotham City local election, school board, or something, he ain't voting.
I will say this. I agree with you on that with Bruce Wayne, but I do think the powers that be at Wayne Enterprises, because he ain't following that every day. I think the powers that be at Wayne Enterprises are sliding some money to Trump to go ahead and get these corporate tax bailouts. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Oh, that's for damn sure.
Damn
all
sure.
of Wayne Enterprises is voting for Trump. Lucas
yeah,
Fox might be voting for Trump.
Lucas Fox is voting for Trump.
Lucy's not though. Nah, don't put that.
I don't know.
on.
Lucas might be voting for Trump. I don't know, man.
Wayne Enterprise money
that money need to
keep
keep coming in. I don't know, man. Lucius, he look. Not only does he have to arm Batman, he is running
Joe
Wayne
Clark
Enterprises.
is not voting for Trump.
The money got to keep coming in. I don't know. I think he's voting for Trump, man. Okay, I'll say this: Captain America did not, or Captain Marvel did not vote for Trump, because she's trying to see any women succeed. So she definitely voted for Hillary, and she definitely voted for Biden and Kamala. So like, nah, I do not think that's the case.
For Trump, no.
But Black Widow did vote for Trump. she would, but she wouldn't admit it. She wouldn't have said nothing. But look, what we talking about? 55% of white women. Black Widow voted for Trump. I'm putting it down.
The whole
No doubt,
Fantastic family voted for Trump. They nagged it out.
Oh, come on, bruh.
Who?
Whole Fantastic family. They mag it out.
Even Black Johnny Storm?
They mag it out.
Black Johnny Storm didn't. So that new one, Black Johnny.
Fantastic.
That new one, no. But like the original movies, the normal family, Ben Grimm, definitely.
Yeah, Ben Grimm voted for Trump.
Human Torch, definitely. He definitely got that college frat boy. Like,
yo, I'm gonna add on to that, to Dorian's point. I agree, because Dorian put me onto this. I went back and bought the first Black Panther issue he was introduced in the comic book. And that's for Kane of Wakanda. They definitely would have voted for Trump.
Oh, Lord.
That whole comment was like, they were like, ain't no way these people got this technology. And ain't no way these Black people are as strong as they should be. Like, it was the whole, like...
Even Sue?
All of them, bro. It was like complete, like, they were all skeptical. Like, why are we here? Why do they have this power? Like, I don't believe this is happening. Like, I read, it's like 2 series. Well, like 2 comic books. It was like episode 1, episode 2. And I read it and I was like, yo... They were so skeptical of everything. They did not believe that, like, Black.
See, this hurts my feelings. Because I had hope that the Fantastic Four was like, you know, kind of about this supporting people's life. They've always been fishy when it comes to the mutants, though. So I shouldn't really be that surprised. They've always been like wishy-washy about mutant rights. So yeah, you know what?
It knows. I got a pretty obvious one. I'm gonna switch universes. Guy Gardner is voting for Trump.
Yes.
Guy Gardner is the worst Green Lantern ever.
That's why he's voting for Trump.
Guy Gardner voted for Trump. That's yes, Mark.
I got
that
one.
Is true. Go ahead.
Professor X definitely voted for Biden, but I think Magneto didn't vote.
Magneto voted for Kanye.
Magneto might have ran himself. He'd be like, you know, get this. Open your eyes and your mind.
We're in the future, Charles, not them.
I can't believe y'all thought I was about to say Professor X voted for Trump. Y'all wow.
Bro, you had us on pins and needles. There was like dramatic pauses and everything.
Because we were just going all like people voted for Trump. So it was like,
I had to throw Biden in there, man.
That's fair.
So just to recap who all we said voted for Trump. Doctor Strange pre-accident, which I very much agree. Walking, Don Cheadle, War Machine, Cyclops, Hawkeye, Black Widow, the entire Fantastic Four family, and Guy Gardner. And you know what? We probably didn't even scratch the surface, y'all. That's a shame.
No.
So speaking of Guy Gardner, one topic in conversation that we've talked about often is DC Comics. A lot of us are fans of DC Comics. Obviously, this is Marvel's time to shine. Like the era of Marvel and movies has dominated. But a lot of us are some true comic book heads, and a lot of us just loves DC and the DC stories. Mark and I, we're DC heads. Like, we grew up through DC. And so a question that we always had is like, what story, what character, what anything in the DC universe can save DC's image? And specifically like in media, like what can we see or hear to really make DC pop in movies again? And I will say all that to say this. Batman's had a hard run these past couple of years. I've always said, anytime I have a conversation with y'all and Batman comes up, I'm just like, damn, Batman's had a run go of things. He's just waiting for 2021, man, because it's been rough for Batman, yo. As time has gone by, we have realized that like Batman is just a white man with money and privilege and a bad perspective on things. So I'm looking for a turnaround so he can get some of his shine back.
But for the sake of movies, though, you're talking about like the Christian Bale Batman, like that was a good run. You mean like as far as DC getting like
what was it? The Dark Knight Returns. That was 2010. So it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. It's been a minute.
I hate to say it when it comes to DC though, but I know we were talking about with their movies. I think the way for them to get back is to let the movie thing go, because DC makes great TV shows. I think they're great. Their CW shows are great. I mean, I personally like Arrow. I was sad to see it get canceled. I watch Supergirl. I watch, Legends of Tomorrow. I watch all that stuff. Black Lightning. I think their TV shows are great. They did good with the Batman TV shows, the Flash I watched the Flash. But then the minute they try to translate it to the big screen, they try to copy the MCU too much. Like they don't have their own flavor. They try to jump into the connected universe thing way too quick. And so they've lost all the credibility. I think if they scale it back and just stick to making really good TV shows, they can start back popping again.
I think that's a good point too, because honestly, for me, DC has to let Superman and Batman go a little bit. They have to, I'm tired of seeing Superman on screen, tired of seeing Batman on screen, just rebooted. I mean, the Dark Knight series was amazing, but everything else.
We all know how Thomas Wayne died.
Yeah, I mean, how many times we gotta see his parents die? They can really grow by taking on some of those lesser known superheroes and bringing them to the forefront. Because I mean, that's essentially all the MCU did, was bring up and focus on some of those lesser known superheroes and then connect it. But it seems like they're just so heavily centered on those. And if you just look at how well Wonder Woman did, like I know some people in here didn't like Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman was a great movie to me, and it did really well in the theaters. And I mean, we don't really get a whole lot of Wonder Woman movies, even though she was kind of popular back in the day,
Well, hey, to push back on that a little bit. So, and Nels, we talked about this in the Into the Spider-Verse episode.
Yep.
Marvel had no choice but to expand, and like necessity spawns creativity. Like all their top stuff was gone. They didn't have X-Men. They didn't have Spider-Man. Like before this run, Tony Stark was not the front man for Marvel. It was Spider-Man or Wolverine, but they couldn't use those people. So they had no choice but to venture.
Not to interrupt you, because I want you to keep going, but like, if y'all, I'm sure y'all remember this. 2008, if we told you to name 10 superheroes, Iron Man wouldn't have made it. He wouldn't have made a cut. And now he's number one. So just to like feed on to what you're saying, Mark, but go ahead.
Yeah, but no, and just to wrap it up, so Marvel had no choice, but I think me personally, I think the DCEU's biggest problem was they tried to hop in the whole expanded universe thing too quick, and they rode the coattails of the Nolan movies. Like, we got to make it dark and realistic. And Marvel was like, let's just make good movies that people enjoy. And I'm personally tired of seeing depressed superheroes that hate having powers and woe is me. And I'm with you. If I got to see Martha Wayne's pearls fall in that alley one more time, so I'm a let the conversation happen to y'all. But that's just my take on the DCEU.
Honestly, I'm just in agreement with everybody else. I think to Jeff's point about the shows do really well. I think that the cartoon movies do really well for the DC. Like they got the best animated movies is all from DC comic characters. But I'm with Darius. I mean, you got to drop Batman and Superman. Put them on ice for a little bit. Like Wonder Woman did well. I hate DCEU, period. But I watched Aquaman on the flight because it was free and I was bored. and it was entertaining. Like, it's like, do more stuff like that, and that's the way you're gonna grow your fan base and grow them out. Or to Jeff's point, focus on just rocking the TV shows with all your characters like Arrow and Flash and stuff. But because Batman and Superman are played out, they boring. I'm tired of seeing his parents die. The jig is up on Batman. Like, after Christopher Nolan did it, ain't nobody else about to do like a character study on who Batman is and his motivations and stuff. And then Superman is too powerful, and so now it's like you can't put him in a realistic movie and then expect people to like feel like there's any stakes. So
that was always the hardest thing. I'll say this, and it may get off subject a little bit. That was the hardest thing for me growing up with Superman. Like, my mom would have me watch all the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, and I used to get so frustrated. I'm like, yo, this dude would get his ass whooped for, like, if the movie was 2 hours, for like 1 hour and 50 minutes, bro, he would get drugged. And then the last 10 minutes he would win. I'd be like, yo, I can't respect no man to get drugged that much.
Hey, so Otis, let me ask you, like, so why do we like Superman? Because, like, he should be like, this should be a little anime forum conversation. He's too OP, but like people love Superman. So why do you think
don't.
like
That's a myth.
No,
Marketing?
He's mid.
Okay, hold on. Y'all need to understand something when it comes to Batman and Superman. Like, first of all, Superman is the definition of superhero. Like, he created the whole thing. It's not his fault that people don't know how to write him well. Because the issue is, y'all, that we have folks who don't know how to write him well. How you write Superman, we actually have seen it done really well at Marvel. Like, it's how you write Captain America. Like, how he embodies himself when he comes to the scene, how people look at him, how people feel about him, what he like struggles with, what he thinks about, how he like the challenges that he has of like what I should do, what I shouldn't do, what should I like influence, what I shouldn't. Like, it's the mental play. That's why Lex Luthor is such a great villain. It's all about like what situations are you putting Superman in and what things he needs to do, like, because he can do everything. So what do you do to the man that can do everything? Challenge him to decide what he should and shouldn't do. Like, we haven't seen the brother written well and done well. That's why we don't like any of the shit he's in. But like, it's not Superman's fault. We just haven't seen someone do it the right way.
That's fair.
That's why, like, the man, there's a reason he's survived 70 plus years. It's because there's dope Superman stories. There are dope Superman stories. There hasn't been a dope one since he died.
Right. Well,
that's dope one since he died. But like before that, there were dope superhero or Superman stories.
Yes, I was thinking about, and y'all can check me on this, but it was they tried to do a Death of Superman series. I want to say like in the maybe mid to late 90s with Tim Burton or something. I think Nicolas Cage was going to be
Superman.
Was that the one with Kevin Smith where they wanted?
Yeah, Kevin Smith wrote the script.
The spider in there. The producer jacked it up basically.
The dude from Wild Wild West wanted the giant spider.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know where they were going to go with that, but I think that was going to show kind of a different side of Superman. I was always curious about what that looked like, because I think it's like locked up in a vault and no one ever know about it, see it. But Tim Burton taking a take on America's favorite, the world's first superhero, to be quite frank.
You know who we need to tap into, though? We need to tap into those milestone imprints and get a static movie going. Because, like, the way we talk about Batman, the animated series, like, one of the greatest animated cartoons ever. And the way we talk about the original Spider-Man animated series and X-Men, when Static came out on WB, that shit, like, surpassed metrics that comics had seen for, like, years. And if you get, like, some young actor to play Static and have like a brighter superhero that's not always depressed getting in the mix, maybe some Shazam sort of comedy in there, like DC could really switch the game up.
Static is Spider-Man for DC, like that young teen, like, going through having powers. You get the like joy of having with the responsibility of it. So,
but not as good as a rogue gallery. That's the only thing. Because Spider-Man, for as great as and compelling as Spider-Man is as a character, he also has a dope rogue gallery. That's why Spider-Man is like number one.
Yeah.
Like when it like you have a dope character and dope villains at the same time.
Batman only has better villains.
So that's
Batman's the only one who has competition for better villains.
That's the other direction I was going to go. If we don't get like a happier superhero, we need to make DC villain censored movies like Secret Six movies, or Injustice League,
You
and
know
just
that
go from there.
that's the only reason I'm even slightly interested in the new Batman movie is the fact that like you're gonna show the Scarecrow and it's not gonna be like a little, sack on the head Scarecrow we got with Nolan. Like the fact that you're gonna center the movie around maybe the Scarecrow or the Riddler type deal. Because I'm excited about the villain. I don't really care about Batman at all.
So a question I have for y'all, and then we can move on from DC. I forgot who it was. Was it you, Darius, who mentioned like some smaller DC characters or folks who haven't really gotten the limelight? Matt shares Static Shock. And like I will say this, Milestone's gonna make this is my prediction. Milestones is going to first of all, the line of comics are coming back. Static Shock is getting a movie. So like Milestones is gonna hit the world pretty hard very soon. So we gonna see Icon, we gonna see Rocket, we gonna see Static, and we gonna see like a Dakota. We gonna see all that very soon. Hopefully we get even another Static Shock show. I digress. Outside of that, like what are some characters that really haven't gotten love from DC that you'd love to see?
Low-key, I would love to see the Martian Manhunter. I actually don't know a lot about his overall story arcs or anything like that, but I just remember watching the Justice League animated series, and like he was always one of my favorite characters. Like he is like interesting. Every part of the show that he was on, like I was always like super tuned in. Did not care about Superman, didn't care when Batman was on screen. Wonder Woman was but Green Lantern and Martian Manhunter, like they just had they had unique and interesting powers, and I was like, that's what I want to see. Like,
and they were both black. Darius, we know what you really saying.
Martian Manhunter was black. I was like, oh, that guy sounds like my granddaddy.
Even if you just saw Martian Manhunter's ID, like your name was John Jones. Yeah, you black dog. You black.
Right, my man. I was like, come on now. I was like, we know who he is.
They didn't give him much. I don't see a lot of him in the movies, but they did make John Jones a recurring character on Supergirl. So Martian Manhunter is all through there. But I would like to see more of that, like in a big movie type sense. I think that would be dope. Villain wise, I'd also like to see on the big screen for DC Brainiac. I want to see a lot more of that too. I think that would be dope.
John Stewart is my favorite Green Lantern. I know people will probably still want to see a proper Hal Jordan done, not what Ryan Reynolds did. But like, I think Green Lantern could actually carry for a good length of time if they do the whole Lantern Corps. I'm talking like red lanterns, orange lanterns, yellow lanterns, black lanterns. That could be a whole series right there.
Yeah, that Blackest Night comic book series seen in live action would be fire. It would just be straight fire. And I'm assuming the HBO series is going to do something like that, to have the entire spectrum of Green Lanterns, and it's going to be dope. And Matt, I appreciate you saying that, because Green Lantern, for those of us who like outside of just the Justice League cartoon, which did a great job highlighting Jon Stewart and the Green Lanterns are dope. It was my favorite superhero growing up. Amazing comic books. Like Green Lantern is a dope thing. So I think being done right is going to be exciting.
No, I was gonna say, for the sake of time, I was gonna say Green Lantern too. I know it's not like people know about Green Lantern because of the Ryan Reynolds movie, and he even took a shot at it through Deadpool, like admitting like I should have never did that shit. But to Matt's point, it's a lot of different routes that you can go, and I don't think as a kid watching the Justice League cartoons used to always make me think like, y'all really like never wouldn't show how powerful Green Lantern was. They always made sure he took a backseat to, Superman, Batman. Don't get me started on that. I love Batman. That's the only thing that annoyed me. Batman being in Justice League. I'm like, bro, you don't have no powers. You and Robin need to get out. But but yeah, I really wish they could have shown like really how powerful he was and how he belonged to something bigger than just this Justice League and what's going on. But it's a cartoon. You got 30 minutes. You got to get in and get out.
I was going to say, I like the Constantine movie they did with Keanu Reeves. Like, if they were to do like another one of those, especially now that like, CGI
they are
graphics, that would be really dope. I'm a big Flash fan, and I feel like my big issue with DCEU, I guess, is just don't make it a universe. Make these one-offs that can be unrelated, right? So you can do a Flash in the desert racing against Black Flash or something, or like the Speed Force, something with the Speed Force that doesn't have to connect to nothing. Just give me like a one single movie type deal, and then make it dope and something that way you're not worried about grounding it in too much reality. The same, that's the thing that with DC is that you have to like, you can't put it in today's world, because how do you talk about a Green Lantern with all the powers that he has, or a Superman, or even like a Wonder Woman? She's about to be, lassoing lightning and stuff. So I would like to just do one-offs, because that's the way the comics are. You do a one-off, a storyline, and then you don't worry about this continuity thing, because it gets too hard to juggle.
So I thought about this for for a while. I think if you want to keep the whole universe thing, or you don't, I think if you want to save the DCEU, I think you do a Lobo movie, right? But his target is Superman or one of the Green Lanterns, and then you turn it into like a Guardians of the Galaxy, Deadpool kind of like buddy cop movie. I think like that would be.
Mark,
like
I'm about to
fresh.
shut you up because that's too good of an idea. I feel like we can make some money off of that. But go ahead.
Yo,
DC
Lobo,
about to steal this.
I know, right? They're like, ooh, that's good. But Lobo will make his target either Superman or one of the Green Lanterns, and I think like that would bring a lot of people in, because then Lobo, he's like, I don't even know if he's an anti-hero, but he's a fun character, and I just think it'd be a fresh take, and it kind of bring that kind of like Deadpool crowd into DC.
It could be like hyper violent and then have a scene with like the space dolphins.
Yeah, they should. That's a great idea, Mark. That is just a great idea. Thank you for ending it. So for the last topic, the last conversation, and we'll probably be in argument again. I'm going to ask a hard question. I'm naming that this is hard, and I'm naming I didn't give y'all any prep time to do it, and y'all probably going to regret whatever you say a week from now when y'all hear the podcast. But this is the question that I'm going to ask you. I'm giving you 3. You have to pick 3 of the best top MCU movies. Like no prep. You have to sit. I'm gonna go around and you're gonna say what your 3 is ranking.
Nels, question real quick.
Go ahead,
everybody.
Mark.
I think everyone's gonna appreciate this. Is this what we think is the best, or our personal favorite?
I'm sorry, Mark. Thank you for the context. I'll give y'all I'll save y'all some skin, and this is your personal best. So y'all, I'm gonna give y'all some grace and say your personal best. What you think is the best MCU. You got 3 movies, ranking order, first, second, and third. And you gotta say why.
All right, so my top 3. First is definitely Infinity War. And I know Dorian already knew I was picking Infinity War. That is my favorite movie of all time. I've watched that movie at least 30 times this week. Thanos is my favorite character. I remember sitting in the theaters and watching when the credits came on. After he sat down and he won, I was like, yo, it happened. I've been cheering for a villain to win my whole life, dog. He finally did it. 2, I am going to go with Winter Soldier. This is been rough for me. I've not wanted to accept this, but after we watch it, Winter Soldier is amazing. I mean, it has some amazing fight scenes, dog. Like, it's not really debatable. I used to debate it, but I'm on the wagon now. And last is going to be the first Avengers movie. And the reason why I put that there as one of my favorites is because I still remember like watching the end of Iron Man and hearing Nick Fury say we're going to put together a team, and that's when it clicked like, oh, they're really going to try and do this. And then when the Avengers movie came out and they did the panoramic shot of of all the Avengers lined up to fight the aliens. Like I've never that's the third most hype I've ever been to theater. Like that is third. Second is when Black Panther got dusted away. Like y'all should have heard me in the theater, dog. It was bad. And first was Avengers Assemble, and I about cried. So the first Avengers has to make it for me.
You about cried. I did cry.
Yeah, we talked about that. We both cried. That little boy telling Cat to get up made me cry.
The only thing I'll add to that, Darius, is the first Avengers. So for context, like I said, my mom put me on to this whole world, my brother and I. So somehow we figured out when the first Avengers came out. I think I was living in Dallas, or maybe I was in grad school in Atlanta, but we came back to Charlotte to take her to the movie to see it. And to your point, that moment when all the Avengers finally like stood together as one, it was a 3D thing. I remember my mama took her shades off and she like started pumping her fist and was like, yeah. And I'll like never forget that, man. Like she waited her whole life like reading like dusty comic books and stuff for like that moment. Like I only waited, like 15 years? Like she done waited like 30, 40 years for that.
Damn, that's real. That's real. And that was a dope moment. I think we can all agree that's like, we're all going to remember that moment the first time we saw that for the rest of our lives. Young Matt, you're next.
All right, like on the spot, I have to go slightly different. I'm gonna put Endgame over Infinity War as my first one, mainly because of like that successful defeat of the enemy after taking the L. Like when Cap was almost down, and then on your left in the portals, all your hope was restored. So like that was big for me. Two, on a similar vein, I'm gonna put Spider-Man Far From Home. And the reason I'm going for that is because like Tom Holland put on his big boy pants for that movie. Like they was really showing you how strong Spider-Man is as like a Titan. When he got hit by that damn train and still like walked it off, and he's like a kid, like they really set Spider-Man up to like
I don't know if
take
he was
over
walking
after
or he
Tony.
was like skipping. That wasn't really walking. That was dragging his leg. He was kind of hobbled a little bit there.
He took some hits though. He took some real hits and still came out. And they tried to throw a body on him with Mysterio, but there's that. And I guess the third one would be the first Guardians of the Galaxy, mainly because of how MCU showed how they could take quirky, lesser known characters and really make you like every single one of them. Like, you know how many times people will just have I Am Groot gear? People want baby Groots to keep in their houses and stuff. It's ridiculous.
All right. My first one, I'm going to have to go with Endgame. For me, the portal scene was cool. You know, it was a great, the way it was put together, amazing. But for me, it was the nostalgia of it all. I mean, it being a time travel movie, the different spin that they put on time travel when, you know, Hulk and them were talking about how it doesn't work like the way it does in like Back to the Future. And the way that I explained that is a whole different way of looking at time travel. So that was dope. But them just doing what any time travel movie would do, going back to different points throughout the MCU, showing you those iconic scenes that got us all the way there. You know, the I Love You 3000 corresponding to the 3,000 minutes of MCU cinematic film that we had up until that point. It was just a beautiful, beautiful put together movie, my favorite movie of all time. So that would be first. Second would be the first Avengers.
Jeff, your favorite movie of all time?
Say what now?
You said that's your favorite movie of all time?
It's my personal favorite. I watch it all the time. I love Endgame. Like I've never found myself. I'm not one to cry at movies or anything like that. But when Iron Man died, weepy tears. Like it's not my thing. Like, you know, for me to get that invested in a movie, it's amazing. And I watch a lot of movies. Like, and I just never get as invested. I never get as invested as I did in Endgame.
Jeff, you know, did you see the deleted scene where Iron Man died and they took a knee?
No, I did not. They took a knee.
You gotta look that up and check that out, bro. If they had added that into the movie, well, I'd have cried 3 times.
I cried 3 times. Boy, I gotta see that.
I
I'm
saw it
gonna
afterwards,
get
and I was
tissues all
like,
over again, man.
I would have took
That
me
was
out.
a bad
It's that moving?
Yeah.
It's moving.
Jeez.
I gotta
Because
push
if
back. I
if
seen
I remember
that.
correctly, T'Challa was the first one to kneel because he was kind of like, I'm a king, so I know how to like not. So if I correct me, T'Challa kneeled first, and then
Yeah, he did.
or Cap.
Oh, I gotta
maybe it
look
was
that
Cap.
up, bro. I
It
have
was
to
him
see
or
that.
Cap, but then
No,
everybody
it
started
definitely
kneeling.
wasn't Cap. Cap's not taking the knee for nobody.
Cap's taking the knee? What?
For the Cap.
Cap say stand for the
For
flag.
the Cap. Cap is
Oh,
the
man.
out of this country.
Cap say I'm the only Cap that matters.
You better
for the
stand
flag.
up for. You better stand for.
You gotta
I
stand
thought
for
the knee was
flag.
disrespectful.
You gotta stand for my shield.
Oh boy.
You telling me Cap would have some commercials and some hot takes with Cap?
Oh yeah.
Cap would have, remember like in Spider-Man, he had all them little like commercials. Captain America,
Cap.
and I risked my life in World War II, and I
3.
Infinity War, and Endgame. If you
Hey,
want
Can stand for this flag.
Yeah. And Cat would have been like, I know it's a battlefield and all, but why we gotta get political?
Right. Okay, he's not the only person that died. All superheroes matter, okay?
Oh God.
All right, guys, let's leave Cap alone.
Leave Cap alone, man. Oh God.
I have a question real quick. Was that a smoker? The 3,000, I love you 3,000 correlating to 3,000.
I had no idea there's a
I did not know that. Yeah, just threw that out there.
Little out there.
What
It
about
was from an interview the cast was. I think it was like on Good Morning America or something like that. They were talking about that shit. They wanted to throw a little something for like the super fan that actually would sit there and look up and know how many minutes were in each movie added up until then. So it was just like a little like Easter egg homage sort of thing.
Jeff, you ain't never taught me nothing before until this day. So
Yo,
Well, there you go, big brother. Every now and again I come up with something. But yeah.
Did you do your 3 movies? Did we
I
just
think I got distracted after one. Damn,
got
I got
Endgame.
distracted. Number 2, the first Avengers, same thing. That's what really, really got me invested, like really invested in the MCU, not just thinking it was going to be a one-off or a couple movies and be done. And for me, my third, just as one of my favorites to watch would be Doctor Strange. Just the way that it's put together, it's like an Inception type film, really just, and for me, it was one of the best put together for introducing a superhero. Showing us where he came from, rich, glitzy doctor. All he cared about was his hands. And so really showing that fall from grace and then breaking him down to become, the Sorcerer Supreme. I thought they did an amazing job. So, yeah, one of my favorites.
Hey,
That would come
Jeff, you're right, dog. Doctor Strange is not getting enough love. You're right about that.
Dorian, you're next.
Yeah. So for me, Endgame is number 1. For all the reasons everybody else said, but Avengers Assemble, like I never like that feeling, like that tingle of like this is literally what you've been waiting your whole life for, to see something that you never thought you could ever see. It was just kind of like putting a button on it. I think the movie just took, coming off of Infinity War, there was so much pressure in like, what are they going to do? How are they going to resolve it? And like throughout the whole movie, I felt like it kept showing me stuff that I wasn't necessarily expecting, even like the fat Thor. I didn't think Black Widow would be the one they'd kill. Even the way they did the time travel, I'm not mad that she got killed, but I just didn't think they would kill her. But just the decisions they made during that movie, I thought were just super dope. And I'm someone who does like genuinely love Thanos, just not to the level that Darius does, but he's like the dopest villain. And I felt like we didn't really get a chance to see him just like square up and like, and really fight. He used a lot of the Infinity Stones in the Infinity War. And so in this one, seeing that he got hands on top of the fact that like he got the Infinity. So it showed you like, this is why this man was powerful enough to do what he did. So I thought that fight scene is one of the dopest in the entire MCU saga. Number 2 for me would be Winter Soldier. Darius laid it out perfect, so I ain't gotta recap that. But I've been ringing that bell for years, and nobody's been willing to admit it, it's one of the dopest films. And then third for me, by a hair, is Civil War. Because one, I feel like that's the best Black Panther in the MCU. Out of all the appearances of Black Panther, he was dopest in Civil War by far. He had the best hands in Civil War and was the realest in Civil War. And then and it was just dope seeing all the different superheroes. They brought Spider-Man back. So those are my top three.
Please, nobody put Black Panther in their top three. Please.
Darren, shut your mouth. Hell, you talking about?
I'm so surprised. I was waiting for it. I was surprised I haven't
Well,
heard
then
Black Panther.
I guess I'll go next. Then because
Yeah, shoot, Darius, what are you talking about?
Black
bro?
Panther is severely overrated. But
yeah, let's talk about it. Black Panther, watch it. The more you see, this movie is not actually good, guys.
what? All right.
Shut the hell up! What are you talking about?
I will say though,
It's the
Black
most
Panther is a bit.
rewatchable movie. What are you
It is a
talking
little
about?
bit of a lie. It is a bit of basically like superhero Lion King. I will give you that. But
Let me get some
that's
snow
about
and
it.
salt.
Very mad at
Yeah,
us.
I gotta
What
wait
you
the hell
saying?
up.
Lion King is an amazing movie.
It is. I'm just saying. But I'm just saying.
I wouldn't mind watching a superhero Lion King. I'm signing up for a superhero Lion
All right,
King.
do you want to go next or
Nah, Mark, you
Look.
go. And then,
I'm gonna go next. I'm
Actually,
gonna go next.
let Otis
Or-
go.
Go ahead,
And then,
Otis.
and then
You look prepared to answer, so go ahead, Otis.
Go ahead, Otis. Do you want to go, Mark? You.
No, I don't know. Otis looks more prepared than me, so you go ahead, Otis. You good?
Oh, style.
Before I give you my three, I just gotta say this. First of all, Darius, the way that you drug Winter Soldier equally with me, I won't say drug it, but the way that you remember how me and Darius both felt about Winter Soldier, and this dude just flipped the switch. So if anything, he went literally like MAGA, Biden, like that spectrum. That's neither here nor there. So the inconsistency from
He's
his
the
character is all you need to know
Obama
about his hot
Trump
takes.
voter.
That's disappointing.
He's the Obama Trump voter.
I don't care how you feel about Winter Soldier. I care about how you feel one way about it and another way later. That's neither here nor there.
I'm a swing voter, baby. You got
You swinging all right.
Dorian swung me back over.
Dorian.
You gotta earn his vote.
Bruh.
You
Dorian,
gotta earn his vote, boy.
bruh. These are my three because I don't want to take up people's time. Cause we talk.
What do you got to lose, Dorian? What do you?
Right.
I got the best movies.
So number one, I got Endgame. I think for all the other reasons they said, I think the two things that stick out for me, well, three things about Endgame. Number one, I think it was like the biggest thank you to Marvel fans across the entire movie, the Easter eggs, the fact that they took you through a time machine and let you relive your favorite moments from all the other movies, I just think was just brilliant. Number two, for me, obviously, for me, was when Captain America got the hammer and he was like cooking for that little like 30-second scene with Thanos. I just thought that was amazing. And then I'll have to admit, at the end, I think Matt might have been the first person I hit up afterwards, but one of y'all, because I remember we were in the thread and we didn't want to talk about it to everybody that saw it. But yeah, I Am Iron Man, and when when Piper told me he could rest now, like I was done. And for context too, that was when I saw Endgame, that was my last day at my gig in Dallas. So I had that was my official last day at work from being in Dallas for 5 years. I went to the movie theater by myself, so I'm already emotional and I saw that. So I was like a mess. So that's that's number one. Number two for me is Infinity War. Just because, I mean, shout out to the first Avengers, because that excitement from everybody getting in the same movie, but I kind of felt that as well from Infinity War, because it was kind of like you had all the Avengers, but you've been introduced to new Avengers along the way. So I just thought I was always worried, how are they going to get all these characters to work in 2 hours? Because it's so much personality and so many different, and how is this person going to interact with that? And I thought it was really, really cool how they picked the right people to get together. Like the fact that they said, we're going to put Doctor Strange and Tony Stark to kick it off, like the two biggest like assholes to be together. I thought that was dope. And then to Darius's point, I think also that was for people like us, like fans, because it wasn't a happy ending. I remember because I think Infinity War was the first movie after Black Panther, if I remember correctly. And so you had so many people that was all in this Black Panther high, and they were like, we're going to see Infinity War. And they were like, wait a minute, why they keep leaving Wakanda? And who are these people? And then they killed them. And I'm like, shut up, this ain't even for you.
Those new, not to interrupt you, Otis, but those new superhero watching fans, like the Black Panther fans, it was frustrating. It was funny. Like I was having like Black folks, we watching superheroes, we into it, but I'm like, nah, man, y'all making it, just hush. This ain't for you. This
my
ain't for
wife
you.
checked me, She was like, do not be a snob. People are coming in here for the first time. She was like, do not, discourage people from being a part of this. And like I said, my mom has seen all of them as well. I remember she went to the theater and my dad got crunk and was like, I'm going with you. And I remember he was like, that Black Panther was something. That was good. When the next one come out, I'm going to go. And he got the Infinity War. And I think my mom was like, he like left or said he wanted to leave like halfway through. He was like, what is this? I don't have any context. So that was number 2 is Infinity War. And number 3 for me is Civil War. And Civil War for me, because I felt like it was a free Avengers movie. And it gave you the introduction to the new Peter Parker, Tom Holland. That's the first time we got to see him. It kind of gave you a little sprinkle of what was to come. Am I right? Yeah, that was the first time we got. Yeah. So I thought that was unique. You got Black Panther for the first time. I thought that was great because honestly, I didn't know much about him outside of the comic book. It wasn't, from what the access that I had, it wasn't as complex of a character to me. Because I guess I was just young, but to see how they really developed that for us was really cool. So Civil War is always going to be up there for me because I think it just brought so many dynamics. And then, in my opinion, it really didn't have a bad guy. You can talk to 5 different people and 5 different people give you 5 different bad guys. And I think that's the beauty of the movie. Like, we're not fighting Thanos, we're not fighting Killmonger. It's like, I would be like the bad guy was Cap and Bucky. And obviously Dorian felt that the bad guy was Iron Man, which I don't understand. So those are my 3, man. But yeah, Civil War definitely has a special place in my heart because that whole showdown at the airport when they started charging, man, it was just like epic. Because you were like, are they really going to fight? Are they really going to do this? And finally they did, and it was great.
And the bad guy in Civil War was the government. Mark.
I'm going to say, it's no surprise, like everyone, I'm going to put Endgame on my list. And you all make great points at Endgame. I'm just going to say, I think Endgame is the reason why we go to see movies, right? I think if you would have gave everyone on this panel when they were 10 years old, $350 million, we would have came up with Endgame. That's what we would have wanted to see. And I think it just hit all the right notes. And I mean, Nels, we talked about this, not to like plug our own show on our show, but when we talked about Endgame, like just the amount of detail and Easter eggs and just nods that they gave to the fans over, was it almost 20 years of movies or 10 years of movies? And it was just something we've never seen before, So that's why Endgame's on my list. So second, I'm gonna go to Black Panther. Black Panther is a movie that I like, not because of the reason to like movies. I love the production design of Black Panther. I love the wardrobes, the costumes. I love the score and the soundtrack. And the more I watch it, it's like all those things, the behind the scene things that you don't think about. They're the things that if a movie's doing them right, you don't think about them. And like that, maybe that's just me, but that's one reason why I love Black Panther. I mean, and the cast, like, there's no one in that cast who's not coming at 100%. Like, there's no B-level actors in that whole cast. And I don't think you could say that with any other MCU movie besides maybe Endgame, and I'm going to say Guardians of the Galaxy. There's no B-level cast. And then thirdly, I'm going to put Homecoming. It's no secret on this podcast, I am a huge Peter Parker fan, and I think that was the first time that we saw Peter Parker and Spider-Man as a collective, as one character done right on the big screen. I think we've had good Peter Parkers. I think we've had okay Spider-Mans, but to have the character as one and like how we know him and why we like him on the big screen, that's big to me. So that's my 3.
I loved Homecoming, man.
Yeah.
MCU Spider-Man has been so dope, man.
Yeah. And it's the one thing we don't get tired of it. Like the way that we're tired of Batman and how we spoke how we're tired of Superman, nobody's tired of Spider-Man. Like we were okay with them. I'm not gonna lie, I was even nervous about Homecoming because I was like, are we about to do this again? Like we just had the God, what's your boy that did the Spider-Man with Jamie Foxx? I forgot his name.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I was like, we just did that, and that
I don't mind seeing Uncle Ben die. I mean, I ain't got nothing against. I don't have anything against Uncle Ben, but like, let's be honest, like every time I see him die, I be like, dang.
That's the most cold-blooded thing I've heard all night.
I don't mind seeing Uncle Ben die.
When you watch it, you be like, dang, Peter really blew it, dog. Like he really could have stopped this guy. Like every time, it makes me think like of more regret, not just I'm a little boy scared of this play. Like get that garbage, that trash storyline. I'm tired of seeing it.
Little Bruce Wayne could not have stopped his parents from getting murdered. They had
exactly. It's boring. I don't care. Stop.
But no, that's why That's why Peter Parker is my dude, because like he lacked the responsibility, and you saw the consequences, right? So it's bigger than him. It's bigger than just I'm Peter Parker. I want this. But let me ask you this: did Uncle Ben vote for Trump?
Uncle Ben 100% voted for Trump.
Definitely. Definitely. Him and Cap both. He
White dude in
World War II
Queens.
with Cap.
White dude in Queens
equals Trump. Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. If that's not a pull yourself up by your bootstraps, I don't know what it is.
Yo, Uncle Ben's fun drinking fact was that
Uncle Ben
he served with Cap.
Hey, but let me say, Mark, to our DC conversation, all these Spider-Man movies have avoided repeating their villains. Like they're not replaying the Joker over and over again. They're giving you dope villains. They're like they've showcased his entire. If you could look at all of them, they've showcased a wide variety of his rogues gallery. And they've had quality villains in multiple different versions, except for
we got excited for the Vulture. We got excited for the Vulture even.
Yep, Electro was trash. But besides,
and they got plenty left. Like Batman, they've covered a good amount of Batman's role. Like you got to think a little bit to go past it. But like Spider-Man, your favorite Spider-Man villain could potentially have not even been featured in a movie yet.
Right.
So, that's what's crazy about Spider-Man's rogues gallery. I didn't say what my list is, but real quick, I'll let y'all know. Number 1 is Endgame for all the reasons. Number 2 is Winter Soldier, because it is a spy superhero movie. What else you need to say? And then last but not least, Black Panther. I waited my entire life for a movie like Black Panther. My entire life. And like all those times I was called an African booty scratcher. And I saw all these black folks wearing dashikis and stuff from my country. And I said, y'all want to be me so bad. I just went into my closet. Y'all went to a store and found something. Like it was redemption times 10. So I waited my entire life for Black Panther. It was also a dope movie. I digress.
You're gonna make Darius think twice before he picks his dashiki out of his closet now.
It was redemption. I was like, bro, this is my entire life I waited for this. But
you deserve that, man. I felt happy for people like you. Like I saw that a lot across social media. People that were like, I was like teased and picked on for like wearing my dashiki or wearing my like traditional garment to school, like graduations and stuff, and blowing.
Eating jollof rice at lunch. And everybody said, "Who got that stanky food?" Like,
look, man, these jokes gonna fly. Stop acting like you. Come on now. Like when you young, them jokes gonna fly.
Shut up, Darius.
I just want to say, gentlemen, this was amazing. Thank y'all so much for being here. I was sitting back and just listening to y'all, like, just go at it, and it was a pleasure. So thank y'all for being here. This was great.
Mark, the feelings are mutual, bro. I love this, man. I think Black men like they grew up kind of very similar as far as getting bits and pieces of this whole DC MC world, MCU world growing up. It's just dope to see it all like come to light. Cause like, no, I didn't have a bunch of comic books, right? Like you got a comic book here and there, you borrow one here and there, you may have read one at the store. So the fact that you have all this at your fingertips now and you get to see it come to life, it just makes you feel like a kid, every time it comes up. and to know that like I got, you know, bros and then bros in my own chapter who are just as passionate as I was is dope. I was telling my wife today, I was like, I think we've been in this thread for like over 5 years now, arguing about like I think,
Damn, really? Well, and we finally got it on wax.
This was dope, man. I'm glad. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity.
Yep. Hopefully we can come back sometime.
I got plenty of hot takes about a variety of subjects. So if you want me to stir the pot, hey, I'm here, Nils.
Y'all are all welcome back except for Darius. No, but in all honesty, thank you, gentlemen, for joining all my brothers. I always say this: my father, he created one son and 4 daughters, but I have so many brothers. God has blessed me with so many brothers, and some of them are just featured on this episode. So I'm very appreciated that Ian and Jaden have some dope uncles who can nerd out with them when they're trying to talk superheroes. So thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all. We definitely will be excited to have you back. And that ends the episode, y'all. So thanks for listening. We have new episodes around every month. So find us on all social media at PopCultParent, PopCultParent. Email us at popcultparent@gmail.com. Don't forget to rate us, review, and subscribe. And as always, join the cult. Peace.